get through, and we start, of course, with Ukraine. Joining me now, Congressman Hank Johnson, Democrat of Georgia, a member of both the House Judiciary Committee and the Congressional Black Caucus, where he is the whip. Congressman, thank you for joining us tonight. And now, even as the White House continues to press for a diplomatic solution to the crisis in Ukraine, the White House has signaled its certainty that Russia intends to invade Ukraine within days. NBC News reporting that, according to U.S. intelligence, Russian military officials have already been given the go-ahead to attack. President Biden and Vice President Harris both met with National Security Council this morning. As Russia extended military exercises in Belarus this weekend that was supposed to have ended, and hostilities in eastern Ukraine continue to escalate. What is the mood like on Capitol Hill as Congress braces for what the president says is coming?
Well, Rev, thanks for having me today. Always a pleasure to be on your show. And the mood on Capitol Hill among serious thinkers is that a Russian invasion of Ukraine is imminent. And the reason why I say some who are serious thinkers is that we do have some Republicans, it seems like most Republicans that I've heard on the subject want to try to say that President Biden has been weak with his response to the withdrawal from Afghanistan and at the southern border, you know, all these folks coming across the southern border, and they're trying to say that the president is being weak on Ukraine, and Putin smells weakness, and that's why this is happening. But serious people understand that the Russians have been planning to invade Ukraine for the past number of years, I think since 2014. And they have been slowly building up to this point intelligence, which is reported to Congress. We've all had the briefings. They tell us that this war is imminent. It's a war of choice that Putin is making, and it's going to have some very harsh consequences in the form of sanctions coming against Putin and Russia.
Now,
but
let me stop you right there, because
continues all the way to the last minute.
Now, do you think that these sanctions will be effective? Do you think that the United States can get sucked into some kind of military action, or do you think sanctions alone with European colleagues and allies will be enough?
Well, the president has made clear that under no circumstances will the United States be engaging Russian forces in defense of Ukraine. Ukraine is not a member of NATO. We have no responsibility or obligation to defend that nation, but we are helping that nation defend itself by shipping them weaponry. $600 million worth of armaments are in the process of flowing to Ukraine. Much of it has already arrived and been placed into service, and we will continue to support the nation as it defends itself. But under no circumstances will the U.S. actually engage Russian forces over Ukraine. The problem is, though, that anything can happen, any kind of mistake can happen that could draw Russian forces against U.S. forces, because, of course, we do have forces stationed in our NATO-aligned nations which are in that area. And should there be any spillover of this aggression, of this Russian aggression, well, that could cause the United States to have to engage with Russian forces. And so it's a very volatile time, very dangerous time. And the Biden administration is doing everything it can diplomatically to keep Russia, or to convince Russia or persuade Russia that going to war will have drastic consequences.
Yeah.
And while he's doing that, we got Republicans at home, instead of uniting with the president, being divisive and actually feeding into narratives that are just not necessary and not helpful at this point.